investors are getting more optimistic about the British economy. Are they justified? Yeah, the FTSE is trading at near records. We've seen that. And the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rachel Reeves, says the UK economy's turned a corner, pointing to its 0.7% growth in Q1. Even the Bank of England governor, well, he says not so fast. According to the Daily Telegraph, Andrew Bailey told the British Chamber of Commerce growth will moderate. With me is Peter Dixon, the former chief UK economist at Commerzbank. Good to see you. Thank you for coming out on a Friday night.
It's a pleasure.
Isn't it lovely here?
Wonderful, yes, it's great.
So what are you expecting in the UK?
Well, if you're looking at just at the growth figures, I think the governor's right. We shouldn't get used to that very strong Q1 figure. We've already seen signs that the economy has moderated. Some of those factors pushing up Q1 have reversed in Q2. And basically, I think we have to get used to the fact that the UK economy just doesn't grow as quickly today as it did maybe, say, 20 years ago.
Is that structural? Is that cyclical? Is that just life?
I think it's structural to a large extent. I mean, obviously we all know that productivity in the UK has dipped, as it has done everywhere.
Right, there's always been a productivity gap here, and it's always been larger than elsewhere.
Yes, but now it's not just the gap that's the problem. It's actually the rate of growth, so the extent to which the gap is closing is actually slowed as well.
So, for example, the Prime Minister, Sir Keir, has got himself into a really nasty mess over entitlements at the moment, where he's having to backtrack on many of his promises. But the government does seem to want to reform both entitlements and the economy. They're just having a very great difficulty doing it.
Well, their inheritance a year ago was a pretty poor one, and they're never going to do all this very quickly. It's going to take not even one parliamentary term. It'll probably take two. And looking at the opinion polls, they may not get two. So
that would be extraordinary, bearing in mind the size of the majority.
Well, it would, but we can't rule anything out these days.
Absolutely.
But I think the problems facing the UK are, as you said, they are structural, and they've been allowed to fester for many, many years, and it's going to take a long time to fix them if they can indeed be fixed.
Is the UK over its Brexit hump? Now, there will obviously be a lost production, a loss of economic activity that will never come back. But the new deals that have been put in place, what's your feeling on it?
Well, I think we've made a lot of progress. But obviously, Keir Starmer wants to have stronger relationships with Europe, and I think he can do a lot more. And I think the UK pretty much needs to do an awful lot more to get closer to the pre-Brexit arrangements, quite frankly.
And if we look at, for example, now we're here in the towers of finance, the market in London. It's fascinating because if you take Forex, bonds, Europe trading, all of these other things are really very, very strong still. Equities not so. The London market is having, I know that the CEO of the stock exchange will be calling me before tomorrow to beat me up on it, but the truth is the market here and the listings are not as good as they could be.
Well, that's very true. I mean, there are a number of reasons for that, of course. It's not just Brexit. But the simple fact of the matter is that there's a lot more competition from not just from European markets, but from markets elsewhere in the world. Previously, you get commodity producers wanting to list in the UK. Now they go to Asia. The markets are getting deeper, wider, and there's a lot more liquidity out there than just in Europe. So the competition is that much stronger.
If you had to sort of say the robustness and strength of the UK economy at the moment, how would you sum it up?
Well, I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah. It used to be 8. Now it's improved compared to where it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
So we've gone from 8 down to maybe 5, and now we'll move back up.
That's about it.
Good to see. Thank you for coming out this evening. Thank you very much indeed.